Okay. So nice to meet you and have you on our program.
Yes, nice to meet you, and thank you so much for inviting me. I'm
How are
very
you
happy.
doing? Thanks. Me too. How are you?
um, I'm very good, actually.
Okay.
You know.
Happy to hear. What's so good?
um, with this time, I have the thing that also I was brought back to essential and had the time also and the space to dialogue with what's necessary and what's not. Which is such a privilege, to be able to ask yourself this. And so then you end up in a place where you can also choose how you organize the day and how you organize the focuses and and I feel that whatever remained is, when you go behind the frustration, the sadness, all these things, the anger, the injustice, blah blah blah, what remains is also what matters. And that's why I think that I feel very good right now, because I'm busy with things that matter to me, and that I find essential. So
And can you
I
tell
feel very
what these things are?
yes. And this is where you come in the picture, Frank. That thanks to this platform you offer, this place, it's also making it complete that the things I'm busy with get a space to develop and exist and be not just ideas in the air, or so 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 it's beautiful to be accompanied with your own secrets that you put into something. Because I think that for me it was also the most painful thing and anxious, that what generated a fear is that there was nowhere where I could transform, as an artist, where I could transform in a creative process. And now it's totally happening, so and in a different form, because usually I work a lot for other people, and now it's a new form, but that feels very, very not new.
Uh-huh. Natural.
Yes.
Sounds
Yes.
good. I'm happy to
Yeah.
hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
You're staying in
Yeah.
Berlin, right?
Yes.
Live in Berlin.
Yes.
How long have
Yes.
you been here in the city?
Living here, you mean?
Yeah, in Berlin.
I moved in February 2014, so it's
Okay. 6
more
years,
than
a bit more,
yes.
and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
And you came from France, right?
No, I
No?
was already in Germany.
Ah, okay.
I was because I left France in 2009. I was 17 because I went to study
Mm-hmm.
dance in Volkwang. It's a high school for art, and there is a dance department that is somehow known as 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 you know. It's actually where Pina Bausch trained, and then she was also the artistic director of this place, and so it's very related to the heritage of what is called modern dance
Mm-hmm.
and express Ausdruckstanz. Um, so dance
Where is
theater.
it? Where is this school?
It's in Essen.
Mm-hmm.
It's close to Düsseldorf, Cologne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was 4 years there, and then I moved to Berlin in 2000.
Mm-hmm. So you're a dancer and a choreographer, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and yeah, so what have you been up to until the corona started?
What I was busy with, or what, or more on a biographical level.
No, yeah, what were your projects or like
Good.
upcoming events, or yeah, what were you involved in?
So, um, and I work on a regular base with a company that is based in Berlin that is called Sasha and Guests. And this year, um, the company invited a guest director from the States called Andrew Schneider, which is the first time ever that the company is actually, how do you call it? Yeah, inviting someone from the outside, because usually only Sasha Valls directs with her company. And we had so Andrew Schneider is this director, author, and video maker, light designer. Like, he does a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
um, and it was also, I think, one of the first time he worked with dancers. So it's a very performative work. But they invited him also because I think they needed the expertise. Like, they thought it makes sense to have the expertise of people that work with their bodies for someone who is so visual. And it was such an intense process. We had like 3 months, which is a lot nowadays, because nowadays you get in the free scene 6 weeks kind of to make a piece and basta. And so this was like a very privileged place where we could totally dive in. And it was, oh my god, it was beautiful. it
Yeah,
was it was so intense. It was so intense because it was also like, I don't need to enter too much into details, but basically it changes your perception as an audience when you watch the show, but also from the inside you have to understand this. So it's a lot of new places to be discovered. And so, as you can imagine, very intense. And then we had the premiere on March 12th. Um, and
March 12th. Wow,
yeah,
okay, that just before.
and no, but that's it.
Yeah,
That's it. They announced they were closing theaters, and because we were performing in Radial System, it was all right because there were only 350 seats, so we could still perform. Although, Foxville was already closed, things like this. And then the day of the premiere, like an hour before the show, everybody came from the company and said, okay, you will perform, but that's the last one.
so you were supposed to perform like just to start this what
Exactly.
tour, or just a series of performances in
We
Berlin?
had first a series, and then of course there, like, tours were
Mm.
were thought about.
Yeah,
But you first need to put out the baby out, so
yeah,
people get to see it
yeah, yeah,
before. And so, yeah, that was it. And also it was so strong because not only us but also people in the audience knew it was also the last time they were there for a
yeah.
long time you
Hmm.
know and it was so powerful. It was so, you know
Yeah, I
you
can
know you
imagine.
you 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 do this, and at the end of the show and at the end of this experience, and
Yeah, after 3 months of rehearsing and stuff, and it's not gonna. And how did you take it, you and the people around you, this sudden stop?
it was nobody could actually realize what was going on.
Yeah,
It was like, it was it was also that because the process was so intense, we were completely in our bubble as well. Like, this whole corona was there, and we were like, whatever, people are exaggerating, or
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I was on my track, and we were all. And then this came out, and suddenly you can't perform. Like, it's absurdity, total absurdity. So, I mean, when they said an hour before the show, okay, that's your last show, um, I cried. Like I could not hold it together. I was like, and a lot of us were also emotional, but also I think, when you can't picture it, like you can't even realize what's going on. Yeah.
And since then, you were just most of the time locked in your apartment. And
Yeah.
how did you, yeah, like all of us. But how did you do? How did you take it? What did you do? I mean, did you continue
So
dancing or?
what did I do? I mean, I was supposed to have my own project as a choreographer starting, and right after this, like in April, and have a premiere now in June. So I was extremely busy at the beginning with reorganizing this whole thing that I was responsible for, that I am responsible for. So this took me a lot of time. So I was, of course, locked at home, but I was extremely busy, organizing, figuring out, and being there, and like all those Bestimmungen that come out one day and another. So it put me very much into concrete. So yeah. So the first, like, of course, a paranoia and a real fear of the virus and things like this, but then the concrete of the work, and then slowly also, like, okay, what is this about? Like, what is this? Trying to understand also, what is this and what am I in this? And then, why don't I have a better idea? I was thinking at the beginning. And I was angry at me, and I was also feeling guilty. I was
better
like,
idea than what? Or
yeah, a better idea.
a better idea about what to do, how to do,
Yes,
how to.
yes. A
Okay.
better social idea, a better political idea, a better, like, yeah, like a vision. Like, when you hear about history, um, the war, for example, and you have some people that understood this early and then made decisions that are crazy when you think about it now. This is the ones that wrote history. And then I'm like, so what's the better idea now? What's the, and I don't know. I was like, you know what? I don't know. I don't know.
I think
And then,
nobody knew.
no, and nobody knew. No, and it's okay. And so then I thought, okay, whatever. And then beautiful things start to happen, with some people you are dear with, and you work with, and some questions are rising, and that are good questions, that are like, okay, and then it starts to be an exchange of thoughts, politically, artistically, that's beautiful. That was really beautiful. And then
how did it
also,
start? Just what, talking to friends, starting to talk,
yes,
to reflect
yes,
about the situation and
yes,
to
yes,
understand, like trying
yes.
to understand where we go from here, stuff like that.
Yes, yes. And it always started with, hey, how are you? Like you're doing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this is beautiful because it puts back the care,
Yeah.
this necessary care. It's absolutely an urge that we all have, and that is not payable, that that is not related to any productivity, or and it takes time. And yeah, it's starts like this, and yeah, and then
Okay, so I'm moving to frame process and the whole, yeah. So
yes,
can you tell a little bit about your offer and what you plan to do and what you want to do during this
yes,
month?
yes. So I mean, basically I started already
Good.
because um the idea came out, and then I thought, I should do something with that. And then frame came, and I was like, seems like the perfect place. So so I was I always used to write, and so now, having time and the necessity also of this better good idea or whatever, or need to experience, and that so I was I could read a lot and write a lot, and I noticed that what was touching me was this topic of the absent body, absent and present body, and so I wrote a lot of it. And
what is the absent body? What do you mean when you think or say?
I think from the things I write, I see that it's the absent body is approached on a level that is like a body without weight, without gravity. It's a body that is floating somewhere, and that's the problematic also. Where does it float? You know, I mean in terms of space, like between up and down, and then where, and it's a body that lost maybe its own gravity. So the gravity is what connects you to the earth, but also then creates the verticality also. So also towards our relationship towards the meta, towards the spirituality, towards those things. And so I can see in my writing that it's all those figures that are like, I don't know how to say it in English, that are like walking without an aim, you know. And so it's also, yes, it's a physical body, but it's also a metaphorical body. It's also humanity. It's also, you know, it's also this, and the concreteness of our situation, I think, really like unlocked or started this writing.
So it started with writing, actually, not with doing something with your body. You wrote a lot about this
writing
concept of absent body, and almost not physical one, or without any gravity.
Yes.
Okay.
And
how do you go from there, from this abstract idea or concept to I don't know, a physical or something concrete?
Because then I was wondering, who are those people? You know, how do they walk? How do they, you know?
You actually try to picture these kind of concrete, metaphysical, abstract bodies without body.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting.
So then I was like, who are they? How do they look like? How, you know, how do they, what's their body language? Or, you know, because what creatures are they? Can they be symbolized with nowadays outfits, or is it people that I can recognize? Is it you know? So then I was wondering, who are those people? And then just like, it was not at all conceptual or like, yes, it's a nice idea. I was just it's all this is really instinctive, you know. It's it comes from, you know, I did not know about framed or anything like that. It was a game with myself.
Yeah.
That's it. And then so what I did is that I took my books, and then I was like, okay, and then I just like I was reading, because it's not linear. It's very rhythmical, you know. There is no sentence.
Yeah.
It's really, like I said in the concept, it's really an enumeration. It's really a
Like what?
list.
Associative thinking or?
Exactly. And I think it's really related to associative thinking, because when I see how I write, sometimes it also goes very rhythmically, also because of association, because you use word like I could go into like use, abuse, reuse, like you
Yeah.
can work with those things, or sometimes words that don't make sense at all, but actually the connection you make it
Yeah.
uh, with your instinct or with whatever unconscious of language. And yeah, fine. So I read this list, and I recorded it myself, because I thought, maybe it could be just like for me a soundtrack, so I have it and I can play with it to find the physicalities. So really, like, just an exercise.
Interesting.
And then I did it.
Did what?
I recorded myself, and then I danced on my voice,
Okay.
and that was beautiful.
Did you read it? Did you read it in a specific tempo, like in a rhythmical kind of musical, something that you pictured you would dance to?
No,
No.
no. The first idea was really I'm just gonna read it, so I have the material somewhere in the room to play with.
Okay.
And but I think that's the power of poetry, of writing. I don't know. I don't want to say that I write poetry, but it's there. It's in the language, and because the urge to write it down is also connected to a groove that you have, to
Yeah.
wherever you are,
Also
and
kind
so
of dancing. You just dance with yourself. Yeah. You just write.
yes,
You write something. Yeah. You have this inner, yeah, music.
exactly. So it's extremely, everything is music.
So it's
Dance
coming
is
from
music.
the same, yeah, coming from one place. It's one origin.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I think it was within the text, because as I read it, and I read it for the first time when I was recording myself, I was also no pressure. I was just like, whatever. And it was I think it was in the text. It was in the text, the rhythmicality, and
I think it's amazing to write stuff and then dance to it, to your own words, and you reading it. It's like, I don't know. Really, I should try it and not be
I think it's
embarrassed about it. Or
you should try it, because I don't know, it's beautiful. Also because it's your voice, but you don't really hear it's your voice. So it's outside you, but it's your
yeah,
voice. So
exactly. Yeah, that's
voice is actually an inner thing. And and because I work also a lot with musicians, with jazz musicians, with choreographers that are interested in music, and I'm also, like, I also have an approach that is very musical, and I'm fascinated by this.
hmm
I'm fascinated, and language is rhythm, and so then I realized, wow, I can actually play also with the rhythm of it. I can play with the semantic of it. If the word is a dead body, I can approach it like, I'm gonna just mime the dead body, just to find material, no pressure.
yeah,
Or I just work with dead body, which is a certain, dead body. Um, or I go contrepoint, counterpoint. There is like a very rhythmical part, and I would go like absolutely against. There is so much to play, and that in this abstraction, you create a place where you, as a spectator, that have space. I think
hmm
so. Yeah, so I had so much fun.
When was
I
it?
Where
When?
I went.
Like recently, from the last like few days or few weeks? Or?
No, this was before I applied for Framed.
Yeah, okay. So
And so I had this little epiphany in this studio, and I was like, I think I should do a solo with this. And then Frame came. So it was a bit before I applied, I guess 3 weeks ago, something like this. 4 weeks ago, something like that. And yeah, so and so many possibilities. My God, so many possibilities for this,
So since then, have you been doing it again? I mean, that's a thing you just, like, I don't know, write and then record, and then that's something you do now on a regular basis, or it's just happened once and
No, I did it again because it's a lot of fun.
okay, I did it.
Oops,
Yeah.
I did it again.
Oops, I did it again. Yeah.
No, because it's a lot of fun. And actually, it was interesting. Before our meeting, I went to the studio on Saturday because I go to the studio on Saturday. I don't have a studio, but I have an osteopath who is very nice, and he has a very big praxis, and he gives me the possibility to go to the praxis. And so the practice is big, so I have space to dance, and there is nobody on the weekend. So
did you make videos or you didn't?
I took one video, and this time, because I was wondering, wow, because it was very cool, but I was wondering, like, why if I, with the framed application, why if I make a piece out of this, how can I sustain alone, no music, just one body in space and one voice for an hour? Like, like if you want to make a piece out of this, like a full length piece, I was really like, okay, because if I want to keep the radicality, like I don't want to like then have like Bach and everybody cries and it's very nice. No, let's keep the radicality, and I mean, that's what I think now. And and so I read a lot, and I made like this 20 minutes video, and it was horrible.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe horrible.
It was horrible to watch the video, or during the video you felt it not working?
During the video I felt. Okay. I think it's a mix, it's a mix that it was the end of the day, I was tired, and also it was, I had such an epiphany, and then you come back to it, and then you never level up, because you're in the expectation of what is beautiful, and
you try to reach the same place.
Yes, which is wrong, and we know, and then also because I wanted to read a lot, I think I was not so genuine in the way I was reading. So it can be that also the text itself had a pace that was just giving me no space as a dancer to communicate with, maybe. Mm-hmm. So it was 20 minutes, and I felt like totally behind the whole time. I felt like I had no. I guess it's a bit like a jazz tune, like, but with my own voice. We know where we are, and we fuck around, and we hook, we take the speech, we live out. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where you are at now.
Say again.
Sorry. So that's where you are at now. I mean, wondering how to take it like to the next step. But that's what you plan to do. Basically, that's your idea, right? To somehow make a solo work to your own voice, reading your own words.
Yes, I mean, then there is also because I know framed, I've been there once, and that's why I had this idea, because I also thought, I know it's not exactly what framed is proposing, but I also thought, can I find a form that is also can exist during Corona? Mm-hmm. And so I thought, this what I wrote in the concept, I think it would be also nice to, because of the big window of framed, that's why I thought about this. Mm-hmm. Which is safe, so you have the spectator outside, and you can be dancing inside, and I really wanted to create this intimacy and this confrontation of a present body that is so necessary, because this two-dimensionality is just like it's just not okay. We cannot just stream,
Yeah.
And also the intimacy of the voice. So that's why I thought I want to do this thing, to have actually the public and me separated by a glass window, which can be framed, but can be also other places or whatever. If the project becomes like really big, like maybe I can build a window or something. And then have a connection with headphones. And so the spectator has my voice that is live also with me there.
Like it's the connection between the inside and the outside. You both
absolutely yes,
the voice, but you can't really
exactly
act physically. Yeah.
So this is also like a whole. I want to use this time now to figure this out, because I don't know shit about technique, and I'm actually not interested in it, but sometimes you need it. So
you want technical like sound and stuff like that.
Yeah, I need to figure out how.
No, but it doesn't sound that complicated. I mean, just to let people hear it from the outside, and either with earphones or something, or with speakers, no? But I really like the idea. I think it's beautiful. I mean, and I think Friend is perfect for like for this.
Yes, exactly.
Space and just dance here, and then people can
on
the outside.
Exactly. I need to figure out also maybe like if Framed would be interested, like if that I do it there, because if like we need to like. I need to see if it's possible to do this with the outside, if how can I put a cable between the outside and the inside, like, because of this question of the format of like the hour, I was also thinking, it can also be an installation. I'm there the whole day and people like in Framed pass by the street, you see this happening, you put the headphones on and you can stay 5 minutes or 20 minutes. So there is also this format that could be possible. Because for me, it's also important as artists that we like remind people that this is not okay that theaters are closed. You know, this is a catastrophe, and this would be a way, because it's safe, and it's also using the street as a public place that we don't have anymore, because public spaces are just forbidden because they are dangerous. So yeah, this could be also a promoting thing, like to say maybe once it's gonna happen also. So yeah, those are the ideas I'm busy with, and I want to like use this month to figure them out.
Okay, sounds great. Sounds like an idea with a body already, not something. No, really, with an absent body, but
yes.
But okay, sounds amazing. Let's see where it goes. I mean, really anxious to see where it develops to.
Yes, me too.
And in the meantime, if you have, I say to all the artists, I mean, if you have anything you want to share, I don't know, some of the recordings, or if you have new stuff or videos or just a piece of paper that you wrote, anything that you feel that, I don't know, if we'll post it next to the video will help the, the viewers to have this, I don't know, this picture of the process of the work. Just no pressure, but if you want to share something, if you feel it's okay, we'd love that.
Yeah. It's very interesting, because at the beginning I did not want to apply because I was afraid of this.
What, these conversations?
Not the conversation, but that this is gonna be out in the world. I mean, also because we were 2 months like this, and and also because I'm sure I'm not the first one who tells you this, but when you're like busy with the beginning of things, it's so fragile, it's so vulnerable, and I'm like,
so interesting, for me it's so interesting. It's, many times it's more interesting than the work itself, to see the process as an artist. I don't know, and now that I'm talking to so many, to see how each individual is, I don't know, approaching, being in the beginning and looking at the work, I don't know, evolves, it's super interesting. It's super
Yes.
beautiful. It's more beautiful than even, you know, having the final result without. It's interesting to see the beginning of the birth of a, you know.
Yes. Yes.
And it's
And
also
also,
because of this condition, because of the situation of everything stopped, and we are trying to, you know, renew everything from kind of a new beginning. It's also like a, you know, a metaphor, I don't know, to the whole. It's really
yes.
nice. I don't know. So I don't know, it sounds super beautiful. I like the idea, and I think yeah, I totally understand. That's why I say, I mean, only if you feel comfortable, there's really no pressure. But if you
Well,
feel,
maybe that's the moment to, you know, play the game. I don't know.
yeah,
You know,
okay, yeah,
there is only this question that I share with you is that I wrote in French, and so I need to figure out.
that's perfectly okay. I mean, you shouldn't, I mean, you don't have to translate it or anything. It's just. I
It's just
just
a
finished
question.
the last 10 artists. There was also a French artist. She lives in Berlin and she speaks German and English, but she wrote also did something with not dancing, not performative, but more of a, you know, a piece of art with words and
Yeah.
paintings and photos. It was in French. She didn't translate it. So
Yeah, it's just a question for me because I think that the dimension of the semantic is also important. So I don't know. I have to. Yeah, I have also to research this.
okay, no problem. Take your time. No pressure. Okay, thank you so much for the talk.
Thank you. Good luck for all the rest of the talks.
And yeah, feel free to, I don't know, write me or be in touch, even, you know, during and like between the videos if you feel like it. And see you next week, I guess.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You too.
Bye.
Ciao.